Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the next installment. For those who are wondering, yes, we're picking up where we left off last night with the wonderful tale of Stanley. So, for those who don't know, if you want to join in on the voice portion of this, all you have to do, go ahead and come into the Discord server. You will find me in the basic voice chat, which is open to the entire public. That way, you can come in, have some fun, and actually get first-hand experience of helping us go through this wonderful maze that the narrator has put before us. Because there are a couple things that we didn't get to last time that I'm looking forward to showing this time. So, everyone who wants to come on in, you are more than welcome. Gotta love that name there, Jen.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, tonight I actually have the names showing up this time, so anyone who is wondering where you can find me, I actually got to play with the setup and everything, because now I'm using actual OBS Studio instead of Streamlabs tonight. So hopefully we won't have those issues of the visuals being choppy for the public like it was last time.
Yeah, it was in and out for me.
Hey.
I just figured that I've listened to you and your guys for a long time, and you're all so smart militarily, and I know absolutely fucking nothing, and so that rank would be more appropriate for me.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that.
I could fail at shit burning, you know.
That takes a special kind of skill.
No doubt.
Yeah, and for those who are wondering, I found a rather nice free source for the layouts. The bad part is I actually had to put it together myself, so it did take some time actually putting together the visuals that the audience is seeing right now. I do have to say, I like that fog and smoke background we have going. The unfortunate bit, it's not transparent, so when we start the gameplay, that fog is going to go away. But everything else will remain. You'll still see the live voice chat, you'll still see the text chat that's associated with it, and also where to follow me between here on YouTube, Twitter, my actual Discord ID, so you can track me down and harass me that way. Not saying that you should, but I guess I invited myself to it.
I had never heard of this game Stanley before. Last night.
Oh, I didn't know about it until a little while ago when the channel member, LRJ88, said, hey, you should give this a try. I think you'll enjoy it. And I got it, installed it, played it for about a half hour, and I was rolling because it's my kind of game. It's a decision point game, but there's a way that you can mess with the game and it tries to mess with you back. And there's a particular bit that we're going to get to this time because we're going to start it out. We're actually going to start by paying attention to the narrator a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go off the rails and see what we can end up finding. So, for those who want to be a part of this and actually join myself and Jen here and actually listen to it live with no delay and have a chance to chime in and help with the decision making, link to the Discord is available from Nightbot as we get that on the screen now. It's also in the video description below, along with the link to the Patreon, to the Streamlabs donation, and every other which way that you wonderful people, if you feel so inclined to support the channel, that's how you can do it.
unfortunately have an annoying dog here who is screaming at me and threatening to make a big mess on my floor. So I will be back in just a couple minutes.
Alright, we will be here. And with that, I am going to get the game started up. Come on. Hello, computer. Alright, let's close that down. There it goes. Now it wants to open. You know, I have not seen that video, Jeremy, but it does not surprise me at this point with JM Truth not being exactly upfront with his service history. Oh, are you saying that we made it difficult for you, Demonic Davros? Well, it's only going to get better. There is going to be much more hilarity on this one. Come on, and back to the game. There we go. Alright. Fred Knotts, actually, there are cases where stolen valor is a crime. If you are inflating or lying about military service for the purpose and goal of financial gain, that is the textbook definition of stolen valor, and that is a criminal act. Okay, Multi-Tom-Tom, I don't know what link you're looking for, but there are links all around, so, Anyways, let's go ahead and load from the previous. Oh, that is actually... Nah, I'm not going to mess with OBS too much right now because why bother? So, is it a crime to do it for, say, free food on... Oh, yeah, one would say that claiming to be a veteran...
None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Oh.
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't...
Alright, I'll pause that for a moment. So, as I was saying, Fred, if you are claiming to be a veteran, but are not, and you are claiming to be so in order to receive a free meal, such as on Veterans Day from an establishment where they are doing it as that benefit, that would fall under it, but how much they're going to prosecute for it is... I'm not sure a prosecutor who would go after it for that because of how trivial of a cost the actual crime would be in that case. Oh, Tom, you have technical problems for many other reasons. Well then, why can't... So, from what I have seen with JM and Shelley, they have touted themselves as being veterans, which, from at least on JM's side, he has provided some documentation to support the claim he is a veteran. Where it gets questionable is what he claims to have done while he was in the military. As for Shelley, I have not looked into it that much. I have not heard much from her or seen anyone press her on anything. I don't know why you guys are getting buffering. I'm actually looking at the stream health and everything is looking good.
Yeah, it is buffering quite a bit.
Huh. And yet my OBS output is in the green. Granted, it does say encoder overloaded. Hang on, let's...
So, yeah. I decided to join you because I have to run to the store.
Oh, so you're out and about.
Well, it's kind of hard to make French toast without bread.
Yeah, minor detail there. Alright, why did it... You know, I think I know why. You know what, for the time being, poof. Let's do that. Come on, back to the game. Back to the game, guys. Alright. Ah, I know. Yeah, alright. That's why. The whole showing in Discord and on OBS, it prioritized Discord over OBS. So.
Yeah, that does kind of put a drag on things.
Yeah. But what I can end up doing is actually at least piping the audio from the game through to you guys. Whoa. Well, that's an interesting thing from the live chat. Apparently, Shelley is not registered as a graduate from West Point, which, what we were talking about at one point before with Geistview and a few others, if she did not actually graduate and be commissioned, that would be why she wouldn't be registered as a graduate from there, which would lend to her doing extra training during the summer semesters. And during one of those is when she got her vaccine that gave her a genetic disease.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she claims to have gotten lupus from vaccines given to her while in the...
Yeah. Yeah, not that she had lupus and it didn't, and it only presented when she was given the vaccine, which is normal. Her claim is that the vaccine gave her lupus.
Okay. Well, I don't know a great deal about lupus, but I don't think that's how any of this works.
Yeah, again, genetic disease from a vaccine doesn't really happen that way. So, but yeah, that's the thing is, does being a cadet at the academy give you the privileges of actually being a veteran? That is a very good question that I'm not versed enough to be able to give an answer, because while you are a cadet or midshipman at a military service academy, be it West Point, be it the Air Force Academy, or Annapolis at the Naval Academy, you are getting paid by the federal government via the Department of Defense. You're not a commissioned officer, but you're not an enlisted member either. They do have cadet pay. So
Which
that
is the equivalent of E5 pay usually.
no, it's less than that actually. It's only a couple $100 a month. Because everything else that you would need as a cadet at the school is already paid for. So the cadet stipend, the actual pocket money as a cadet, very small. Everything else is provided for you. Think of it similar to boot camp, where you're issued everything, but don't actually have to pay out for it.
Oh no, you pay out for it. It's just you pay out before you realize you're getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the way they do it on the enlisted side, because, well, they got to make the numbers work. So, let me go ahead and do this for a moment. And
Jim is really quiet, by the way. Is he quiet to you too?
yeah, he's on mobile, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, we're not saying that she's claiming that the vaccine was lupus. No, she has admitted that she has been diagnosed with lupus as a result from a vaccination, and her claim is that she was infected with the genetic disease known as lupus from that vaccine. Alright, let's go ahead and set up voice meter so I can at least pipe the audio into you guys. Actually, no, that would actually end up causing an echo, now that I think about it. Because I'll end up backfeeding you guys into the call. Well, you know, see, this is why I try this stuff and try to be nice, but...
Well, you could just backfeed it to us and mute it into the stream itself. They might have a little bit of delay.
Well,
it wouldn't be too...
Well, no, what I'm saying is the way that I would have to loop the audio from the desktop back through, anything you guys say would echo no matter what, because it would be back looping through voice meter.
I don't get what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where a physical mixer where you can divide out your audio two different ways is best.
Well, here's the problem though. With a physical mixer, how would I capture the audio from one program on the computer and isolate it from the audio of another software?
You use different audio out ports, and then loop it into a separate import. So like when I'm streaming with people in Meets, I can isolate the Meets audio out separately from the software that I'm using, like YouTube or whatever. So yeah, it's fun. It also helps that I'm using a $600 mixer as well, so that does.
Yeah, the equipment you're using works on that aspect. Plus, I only have the one audio output. Well, technically two, with the built-in feedback speaker for the Yeti. Ooh, actually, I think that's... No, because I do it that way, I won't be able to hear the game. Because I was just thinking, oh, I could set my Discord audio out to go to the feedback on... Actually, hang on, let me try something quick.
Hi, Amy.
Let me see if I can hear you guys through here. Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have muted it.
Yeah, the feedback through the Yeti not going to work until I change software settings, but you know what? I will play with that another time.
Like I said, $600 mixer solves everything.
Yeah, also kind of need the money to be able to do that, but hell, if I had the money, I wouldn't be doing this from the system I'm currently on. I would build that 2-in-1 system.
Yeah, the wife is a little mad that I suggested that she get my rig and I would get that one when I would build it. So yeah.
Oh, so Intellectual Iconoclasm is wondering who's Stanley. Well, we're going to be getting back to that game now since there's really not a way for me to
Maybe Bull has a great idea.
Have someone else host it who can actually feedback things that way.
What are you trying to do again? I missed the actual problem.
Oh,
Came in late.
A way to feed just the audio from the game into the Discord chat here without creating a feedback loop.
Do you have voice meter banana?
I do.
And you want the audio to loop in. Okay, so
without causing an echo because it's still being streamed out through OBS.
okay, so OBS is listening on
desktop audio and separate mic input.
That's your first mistake. You need to. The first thing I ever do in OBS is delete all the default inputs. I go in there, and then I do per scene audio. But that's just me.
But at the same time, it works for me that way. It has to this point.
It has to this point, but now it's actually kind of putting a monkey wrench in things. Like if I go into settings in OBS right now and I go into audio, all the devices, I just disable all that. And then for like if I do a standby scene with music, if I look at that, there's the my still image and all that stuff, and then there's voice meter aux output, which is I named it literally the same thing as the device in OBS, but I added it. But you can add it as a audio capture or audio input capture or output capture. Trying to think which way that it's backwards from what you'd think.
Okay.
And then you could just pick one of the voice meter ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could use for aux, for example. I use aux for streaming only. It's the only thing I ever do with aux is use it to connect into OBS, vMix, etc. And then so that separates everything that's going to the stream out from my normal audio environment, which has nothing to do with it. So then the voice meter VIO, I use that as that's your default audio device, and I can send that to wherever. And then B2, so B2 is the stream. B1, kind of don't use it. But
all right, well, but then it's also the question of, so I took a look in the game settings, and all right, so like I said, weren't going to be gone. I was actually kind of expecting that may have taken longer, but we have it figured out. So Discord can hear the game, but I don't have to dual stream into that. So now we'll be able to run this the way I had hoped from the beginning. So with that, let's go ahead and get back into the game. There we go.
Be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled.
I hear the
"This
game
is
just
all a
fine,
dream."
Perfect.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Hang it.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh,
Then
I'm actually
he
floating.
imagined
What the
himself
fuck?
soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did
So
the
I've
voice
done
not see him
3
float amid
laps
the magical stars just a moment ago?
through the same
How else
3
would the
rooms.
voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Sounds like you're trying a little hard to convince yourself there.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Is that the game stalling or me?
How's the game going?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
So I'm dead.
Kick him.
Sadly, you don't control her, so you couldn't be kicked.
Oh.
Yay, we're finally at the fucking beginning. Alright, let's see if anything else has changed out here.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Damn people leaving their workstations on. Oh, there's another one.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
You know what? We're actually going to listen this time.
Isn't that your right?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley...
So, last time we went with the opposite of everything that was suggested by the narrator. This time, because there's a particular room I want to try to find again, and for the initial bit, I listened until a particular point, and then I went opposite. So that's what I'm going to get back to this time.
He decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Like last time in the stairwell, we went down instead
Coming
of up.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, I'm still playing
Stepping
email
into his
tag with
manager's
the
office,
7th rule.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yeah, it looks like a construction area.
I was still looking at the keypad when you said that.
Oh, yeah, watching the stream, there is that little bit of a delay there. Unfortunately, NANA, not that type of game, or else it would be
Descending
quite
deeper
the
into
different
the
game.
building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay.
Well, gee, that sounds like a good idea.
So, yeah, so we have that room there, and then there's a little writing on the side over here that says escape.
Oh, the screen is way behind you. It's still moving.
Oh, no.
There's mind control facility.
Yeah.
I see mind control facility right now.
Yeah, YouTube is a little bit behind on the visuals, but you know what?
At least we can hear what he's saying with you, so you're not responding to something that he's saying in the future compared to what we're hearing.
True. All right. Dark room, nothing. There's a big button with a light bulb on it. I think I'm gonna press it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yep, let's go. Oh, security cameras.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
See, now the unfortunate bit with this game is once you go past a decision point, you can't go back. Where's our number? Oh, right there, 427. All right.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Probably.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh, from the live chat, intellectual iconoclasm. I have the oddest inkling of a memory where narrator promising cake, except that everywhere I went were messages telling me it was all a lie.
I want cake.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Is that really a good idea, though?
Of course not, and that's 4 up there, so where the hell is
Because
button 3?
if everybody's being controlled and things are
3.
orderly and working,
Why mess with it?
then you turn off the mind control and all of a sudden you have mass confusion. People don't know why they're there or what they're doing.
Whoa.
Well, but there's nobody can't find anybody there.
Yeah, there's absolutely no one else. So,
But they're still controlling people. They have all those different employee numbers.
but there's no employees there. The only person left is Stanley.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Do I hit the off button or the on button for system power?
I'll try off.
Yeah, I was gonna say on seems a little redundant since it's already on.
But it wasn't. It was hung up.
So you're thinking maybe the power
And a
isn't really
rising
on,
chill
and
of
that's why there
uncertainty.
isn't anybody around.
Mm-hmm.
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Holy shit, I actually got the achievement of beat the game. I say we go back to that point and then press the on button.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
That sounds like a plan. Then a whole
This
bunch
is-
of mindless robotic people would show up and start doing stuff.
So that's the end of
That-
the game?
That was the legit way to beat the game, was to go into the facility, find that off button, and press it.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Damn you, game!
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Where's the open passageway?
It was where the fireplace used to be.
Oh.
The more you play this game, the more you gotta love it.
How much of this old Radeon software do
Stanley
I need?
walked straight ahead
Lord.
through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Do you have Radeon stuff?
The lights rose
I
on an
have
enormous
a
room packed with
AMD
television
graphics
screens.
card, so yeah.
What horrible secret
Yeah,
did this
and-
place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
If
Did
it's
he
not
have the
if it's not applicable for the hardware you have, then I guess you can get rid of it, but
Well, it's all applicable to the hardware I have, but the problem is like you update and the automatic stuff doesn't really clean up after itself real well. It leaves a lot of shit laying around. In fact, I think I'm just gonna kill this entire directory because it was.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
oh, look,
Each
there's a
bore the
broken one.
number
Oh,
of an employee
there
in
was
the
someone
building.
fired.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Did you hit the on button yet?
nope, not quite there yet. Got to go back
This
through the
mind
room with all the
control
monitors.
facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here
Yeah,
was the
that's
proof.
what you do.
The
Delete
heart
the
of
flurf accounts.
operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terror. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yes,
After
I
they
did.
kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted?
Yep.
Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come
Maybe
up
the
with
same
on the
code
next
number as
go-around will be
upstairs.
even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Nope.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Well. That was oddly familiar.
That's funny.
All
All
right.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And we're back entirely to the beginning. So, do we start messing with them, or do we see what's down that
When
escape
Stanley
path?
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I say escape.
What about the other two? Should we get back to the same point and instead of going into the room, follow the escape?
Yeah, let's go look at the escape. It's bad. There's a 30 gigabyte Windows.old folder.
Oh, jeez.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I just saw YouTube's favorite words.
Coming to a staircase,
Monetized.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
I didn't even have to push it in that time.
Didn't look out the window.
The outside the window was just white until it until the shutter closed. If only we could do that in this game, NANA. The only way we can do that is by ignoring the narrator.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't believe him.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Boo!
Keep going forward, guys. There's a
Yeah.
hole open in the floor.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
The hell? Or did it? Okay. Okay, I can only go this way.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Big, dark, empty room. Wait a minute. What's that ahead?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
This is weird.
I'm kind of, wait a minute. Stanley's computer? The office layout? The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. The two doors. Set of two doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Yeah, were there any real choices?
Well, what happened when you went through the wrong door?
He started yelling at you. A selection of sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Hey, we found the credits. Kevin Brighting is the narrator. Okay, so down here we have a room to the right and a room to the left. But no doors, so we can go from one and circle back to the other. So let's go left. More artifacts from the office. Oh, a copier. An early version of the maintenance room. We'll come back and go up those stairs later. Let's check the other side. More stairs. Oh, the office clock. Ooh. Ah, development of the boss's office. Yeah, wow, this is a nice Easter egg. It pretty much is developer notes. The underground, the mine facility, and the escape, which look different. Oh, we didn't go to the employee lounge this time. Hang on. That room's dark. Let's go back to that one later. Let's go upstairs from the other side. Ooh, the freedom ending, which we already got. One of the early versions of the countdown desk. Oh, there's the exit. They actually have it marked as exit. This is kind of creepy and fantastic
Why
at the
does
same
why
time.
does it go off when you approach it?
Proximity sensor.
Try to push a button or something.
Let's see. Yeah, those levers don't do anything. Let's back this way. Ooh. Ah,
Apathetic Empath says that. So I looked at this game up online. It says there are 19 possible endings.
and I think we just found number 2. God damn. What's this? Maintenance layout. Artifacts from the meeting room. Ah.
Can you make a phone call?
Let's go back to the phone, see what happens when we click it. Nothing. Same with that button. Ooh, Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Yeah, and see, Tom, you say that, and yet you were wondering what was going on and wanted a link before, so, hypocrite much?
It's multi-tom-tom.
Yeah, exactly.
What are our multi-tom-tom orders? To fuck with or not to fuck with? That is the question.
Just, for now, just poke, get him to dance like the little bear that he is, and then when we get bored with it, then we'll put him in the corner for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, damn. And we already went all down that way. Come on. And our check to there. Okay, so we see an exit. Let's head this way now. Come on.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
That's weird.
Now. Wait a minute.
Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It will be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Okay, let's see what it does this time now. I have to say, that room was pretty interesting to walk through.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
Come on, game. What's going on? Aww.
Somebody got tired of him.
No idea who that would have been.
Oh no, he's still there. I just
Deleted the
wiped out
message.
that message. Yeah. It was a perfectly harmless message. I just wanted to cheese him off a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. Let's have some fun with him.
Well, just remember, poke the bear. And
I know.
It's not time for baby to be put in a corner yet.
Let's see here.
Everybody in chat, vote. Multi-Tom-Tom is the stupidest name on the internet. Punch a 1 if you agree, a 2 if you don't.
I concur with that voting system.
Well, here's what I hear when I hear multi-tom-tom talking.
Blah, 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 blah.
So very true.
I predict that is going to override the herd of Dell cows.
Speaking of, have you gotten that one from Ragical yet?
No, I have not.
Herd of Dell cows? I must have missed this thing.
Speaking of which, I do have him on private messages on Discord. Shall send that request since he's online.
Well,
He's always online.
oh, Bolt, you're not familiar with the Del cow? It's a herd of cows just going, no.
Oh, no, no, no.
And it is timed in such a way it does sound like a herd. Yeah, you know, NANA, I was really pushing for JM to be the award winner this year, but
He kind of conned his way out of it.
no, it's not that. It's Anthony is too intent on winning this year, and
Which is why he must come in second to the second place of
here's
Kyle.
Here's the problem, though. Riley has said that the atmosphere has no weight. Air has no weight. And the reason why air has no weight is because gases do not have mass. Gases do not have mass because they do not have any intermolecular bonds to give them substance.
Oh, I bet poop smarter than that.
You gotta
Oh
give
my
it up to
God.
him for creativity on that one.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Alright, so my only
Well-
options is to begin the game again.
Motherfucker! What?
That's the best response to that.
It depends on what your definition of is.
Oh god, don't even start that kind of shit. Alright. What time is it?
I got 8:20.
Alright, so other than the short time we lost for the audio setup, we've been going for almost an hour and a half. Alright, let's start pissing off the narrator.
That's always the fun
Just
one.
a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Play with the computer.
All you can do is shut off the ones that are turned on.
Okay.
Like that.
Can you open any of those doors you walked past?
No, unfortunately. But I did just see something interesting. We need to find...
Are you trying to input codes?
No, so... There was a screen before that was awaiting input. And I clicked it and it accepted one. And now a different one was awaiting input and already had that one queued up, so... Ooh, we have to find this now.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nope, let's go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Hey, the employee lounge.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so
Can you
utterly
get a
captivating
soda or anything?
that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously
Unfortunately
vanished,
not. I've
here
tried.
you sit looking at these
And just
chairs
tried
and
again.
some paintings. Really worth it.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for retweeting my poll there, Jared.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room
How
bordered
many
on
results are
creepy
you at?
and reflected poorly on
14.
his overall personality. It's
And
possible that this
so
is
far?
why everyone left.
86 yes, 14% no. R&D
But
with
at
the comment
last,
of it
he'd had
depends.
enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Okay. Door to the left to go back, and back on track. And let's go ahead.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright, let's go this way.
Look,
Let's actually
Stanley, I
ride
think
it
perhaps
over the
we've
entire
gotten off
time.
on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing
Oh.
but you all this time. There's
The
someone
Athens
you've been
619
neglecting,
has never
Stanley.
heard of deliverance.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is, and I know most of the stuff from it.
Like the whole
This is
dueling
it,
banjos
Stanley.
things?
Your chance to redeem
I know how to
yourself,
play that, actually.
to put your work aside.
My dad had a banjo for
to let
a while.
her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Uh-oh, it's serious now. The shills have merch.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her.
The hell?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Do we go inside or do we go down the hall? Down the hall towards the elevator or into the apartment?
Into the apartment.
Go in the apartment.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh, press 3 on your keyboard. God damn it.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Press Y. No. Let's press everything except. God damn it!
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Wait a minute. That... Wasn't there a couch there before?
Oh.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Ooh, P to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Have you opened up any drawers
As he
or file
wandered through
cabinets?
this fantasy world, he began to fill it
Nothing
with many
opens
possible
up.
paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he
I
forgets
see. It's
which
slowly
life is
turning
the
into
real
The
one.
Office.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Well, that sounds like you have to
see?
push a button.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
But it's fun.
Press 8 to question nothing. Don't mind if I
I
do.
suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps.
I want to.
Maybe
I
this time
want
he'll
to see the nuke go off.
Maybe this time.
Again?
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Terry might have the right choice. The only way to win is to not play.
The narrator sounds like Rider of Dinosaurs.
Little bit, yeah. Alright, let's see if...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Have you tried to run as fast as you can and jump through a window?
Unfortunately, you can't jump, but trying to jump is actually an achievement that I unlocked. Jumping disabled.
Oh God.
What?
Stanley Parable announcer in Dota 2.
Oh?
When
Yes,
Stanley
the
came to a
guy who
set
does
of
the
two open
narration.
doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yep, let's go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Interesting.
Well played.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Oh, but
Have you touched any of the pictures on the wall?
I've tried. So, do we go back through the loading dock, or do we go the way that he wants us to?
oh shit.
Click on door 430 if you haven't 5 times. I think we might have missed that one. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna have to die and try that one again, Athens. So... I know a way to do that. I know a way to speed that up.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
This is what the narrator's really thinking.
Are you talking to Rita?
Whee!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That's a way to speed it up, huh?
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
430.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly
What?
5 clicks.
Why
I
room
suppose
430? You
would click
just
the door
passed it.
20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Still going.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go
do
put
you hear
20
the
clicks
clicking?
into door number 417?
Okay. Find door 417. Four 420. Four 417.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Hang on. There it is.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so. Now, back to door number 437. Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk. Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
He sounds like he's about to bust one. Is this all the action he gets in a day?
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
Okay, chat, what's another one you want to see us do?
Oh, we're still catching up to the visuals.
Yes, but this will give the chat time to catch up and hear the oh so excited response from the narrator. Oh, C4 already busted. That sounds like a personal problem. You might want to work on that to keep the stamina a little bit longer.
What happened when you clicked the 5 times on 430?
Oh, that's where he wanted more and more and more and more and more, and then we started running around clicking all the other things. Then we get back and clicked on it, and that's when he was so excited.
Okay.
Like he's about to bust a nut.
Yep.
Oh, wait, they're waiting for monetization.
Okay, so what did Sean Carroll say that you felt like you had to time him out there, JC?
Ha 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 ha. I have to move soundboards for that.
You mean you don't have that one on all of your soundboards, so it's always ready?
No, because I only have 8 slots, and I'm trying to fill up specific boards. Like this is my flurf board with the occasional carry for rational sanity.
Motherfuckers! What?
Ah, okay. Alright, so who was it that gave us that one?
That was Athens.
Alright. So what I'm kind of curious what other achievement we can come up with. So let's go ahead and see, I'd like to be able to get out that way. Alright.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left or right?
Middle.
Middle's not an option yet.
Well, where's the fun in that?
Actually, you know what? I got an idea.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Alright, let's let's listen this time.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Nope, I see an elevator. Gotta go down.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh yeah, Thierry, I'm aware of the not playing for 5 years. The person who actually brought this game to my attention has that achievement. Okay. Alright, down the stairs we go. Oh, god damn it.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
God damn it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
Ooh.
Let's find the story.
Okay, so we have 6 doors to choose from. Let's go ahead and number them. Well, wait. Can't go through that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors to choose from. In the live chat, vote for which door we go through. Keep in mind, door 2 and door 3 are the original.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Oh, god damn it.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
God! Didn't even get a chance.
He just loves you that much, Jared. That's all.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I wonder if one of the iterations is his coworkers show up.
That would be nice. Unlikely, but... Let's turn off every monitor we can reach as we go. Sorry about that. Wait a minute.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Oh, this is cool. There's a new video out of, well, it might not be new. I don't know how old it is. It's, a video from the ISS. The astronauts made a big water bubble and put a GoPro inside of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And so you're looking out of the water bubble. It's pretty cool.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something.
What the hell?
The story. Here it comes.
This is...
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Right.
Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Now, I hope I'm able to go back and capture a screenshot. Oh, we got the yellow line.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Are you talking to retard?
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Wi-Fi is all over the frickin' place, too.
Okay, who let the undesignated seaman in the paint locker again?
Hold on. I just saw something weird in that game. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it to make sure it wasn't seen.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
I want to see the fern. Ah, that must be the fern.
Examining it from all angles possible. Although, you know, I want to go back here because this was a hallway at one point. Alright.
Can you touch it?
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Ooh, we're finally over here.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
You just keep breaking everything, don't you?
Of course. Alright, let's follow the line without looking up.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Hang on.
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
I would have looked at 430 again. That can't exist. Walked into a trap.
Pretty much, that's what it looks like. Oh, now we can turn the other way. Or was it a trap?
Infinite loop.
Oh no,
Oh, whoa.
not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Who painted this line?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we
See how the
mustn't
line went up
squander the
into the sea?
opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Only the right door opened.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
Find a
So now,
bookstore.
according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime,
The hell?
I was gonna say, who sounded the general alarm?
I would say this time I did nothing. That was not on me.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the D was surprisingly large.
Sorry, I felt we needed a
Yo.
German. We needed a German presence here.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left or right?
Left.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, I'm gonna see what I can find in here.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Yes, there is. There's always a reason.
There's always clues.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
I'm testing the door.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
But it was mentioned on one of the boards. It said that someone was stuck in
Maybe
here.
to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Says it like it's a bad thing.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Let's see what he says next before we actually step out. Oh, 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 oh. I don't know, do we wait longer or do we step out now?
Oh, I don't know. Wait longer.
Alright, let's give it another 50 seconds. In the meantime, I'm going to keep playing with the door. Although it would have been interesting if the game actually responded to me constantly opening and closing the door.
I think you'd end the game if you did that.
Who knows, maybe that's in the Ultra Deluxe version that I've heard about.
Later, Factard, if you're still here.
Alright.
Ooh.
Back on.
Second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs my ass.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. By Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Alright, the Athens, have fun at work.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
No, it's
I
not.
want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal.
All I want
I
for
am
Christmas
normal.
is... Oh,
Everything will be fine. I am okay.
No, we're not. Of course we're not okay.
Oh.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is
Darn.
Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief...
Let's go ahead and capture that to make a thumbnail. Come on. Don't tell me I crashed the game.
She considered the strange man.
There we go.
He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
What
I
is
am
normal?
sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Alright, so now that we are done with that, gotta love how we managed to make the game go full circle. Good on you guys. Yeah, good job there.
But what's the point? You didn't win anything.
I think that is the ultimate question stemming from this game. What is the point?
I wanted to see funeral pyres fed by other employees. Well, the bodies of the well, never mind.
Well, are you trying to say you have a little bit of a sadistic streak to you?
Yes, I do.
No wonder why you get along with us so well. Yeah. But let's just say I am intent on finding the other endings to that game. So we have the actual ending, the freedom ending. We found the confused ending. I could see this being an entertaining series to run as we go out. But in the meantime, for those interested in witnessing and being a part of other gameplays that happen off-air, consider becoming a patron or becoming a member of the channel, because there is a section on the Discord server accessible only to those people, and we'll be doing off-air gameplay through that area, the Discord server. Looks like I'll still be playing and being live on air on the YouTube end every now and then as well, but here's the catch. When it comes to deciding what game is played, the patron and members have access to a poll that I run before to weigh in and provide input on what game is going to be played. And like I said last night, there was a 4-way tie. So come on. Let's not have that happen again.
No, that's what's fun.
Jackasses. See,
Hey.
I kind of thought your vote was doing that on purpose. Or Tech. come join the fun and make it not so harrowing, please. In the meantime, go ahead, leave your comments, suggestions, concerns, and I'll address them as I can. I have to say, this layout has actually worked, and in my opinion, has looked pretty nice tonight. Tell me what you think, because if we need to tweak it for a bit, we can. But until then, we will go ahead and catch you guys on the next streams, which we are doing the VTW, the Veterans Talk Weekly, at the normal time this upcoming Friday. And then we have the next installment of Kanar with Damar on Saturday. Which, speaking of, Jay, need a response on what you think about the potential topics for the show.
Oh, you mean I actually had to respond to that one? Let me pull it.
Well, I would kind of like a response from the other hosts of that show, so... But in the meantime, we will catch you all in a few days. Later.